whatever the situation is, this is not a usable amount of light for me. I wish they would have increased the lumens on this just a tad to make it a little more usable. Hey, what's up guys? Devin here with Backcountry Exposure. I've got a new video for you today to talk about a new light from ThorFire that was sent to me that I'm really excited about. I've been carrying it for a while, but it is the PF01S, an upgrade to the original PF01. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. All right guys, so here is the PF01S. This is, like I mentioned before, an upgrade to the original PF01S, and I want to just quickly talk about the differences between the two lights and how it really is an upgrade. I don't have the original PF01 to compare this to physically, but let's go ahead and talk about it before I talk about my pros and cons and review of this little light. So the original PF01 was only 100 lumens and had the XP-E2 LED light in it, and it was longer than this and has a different LED emitter on it, so it uses the XPG2 LED and it has an output of 120 lumens. Another benefit of the upgrade on this is you do have a memory mode. So whatever light output you want to have every time you turn it on is an option for you to have that was not available on the previous PF01. So aesthetically, I think it's just a really nice looking light. The build quality seems to be really good on it. I haven't had any problems with the clip. I actually really like the clip on this. Minus, like, sometimes it does catch right here on my pants and I have to push it down a little bit further. Seriously, not a big deal. Not concerned about that. I'll quickly talk about the couple things that I don't love about it as an EDC light, but knowing that this is a AAA battery size light, super tiny, the function of it's going to be a little bit different for your everyday use than say something that uses a 18650 battery or even a AA battery. You don't have the ability on the tail switch to stand this up on its end. So it does not have a recessed tail switch. And speaking of the tail switch, this is probably my biggest complaint about the light. If you push it down, it feels really kind of cheap. And it's like kind of stagey and doesn't have a lot of like high quality feel to it. It doesn't mean that the light is not going to perform and function or that it is a dud and it's not going to work for you. What it does mean for me though is that a little bit more attention could have been paid to how that tail switch is constructed. It could just be the spring in it is a cheap spring and it feels that way, but it's just something that I would prefer to see a little bit better craftsmanship from a light like this. At the time of this review, this thing is only 15 bucks, so it's a really good priced light for what you're getting from it. So on the front of the light, you've got a nice deep set LED emitter, which allows for a really focused beam. And then you've got a really like pocket-friendly, cool bezel on the front of the light, which I like this. It doesn't have sharp edges or anything. It's just really nice looking and clean, and aesthetically it just looks good is basically what I'm trying to say. It's comfortable in the hand, so if I'm holding it like this, it's easy to use and function. It's just big enough in the hand, and the pocket clip is nice and thin, it's strong, and I like that it sits with the tail switch up. I haven't had any problems so far in carrying it with the tail switch turning on in my pocket. So really not an issue for me. So let's go ahead and talk about the light output on this little light. So one of the great features of it is it does have a momentary switch. So if I half press the tail switch, I do get a light without having to click the light on all the way, which I really love having on this light. It's a great feature for the price. The other benefit too is I'm able to cycle through the modes by just half pressing on the tail switch. Now let's talk about the clicking of it, and this is getting back to not loving the function of the tail switch. It just feels a little cheap. What I do love is the memory feature on it. And right now I've got it on the medium setting. Sorry, that was the high setting. So that's 120 lumens. What I don't love is this setting right here. Now, this is what they call the Moonlight. You can see that this really is not a very good working light on this low setting. Now, I haven't specifically tested it outside in like pitch black or in a tent or anything like that, but for me, for an everyday carry type situation, to have this setting, if I'm out in the city and I need to work on my car, or I need to look around in my car for something, or even in my house, whatever the situation is, this is not a usable amount of light for me. I wish they would have increased the lumens on this just a tad to make it a little more usable. For the medium setting, which you see now, this is a good usable amount of light and makes sense for what you would have on for your memory. And then your full 120 lumens is a really nice working amount of light. You've got plenty of light to work with. It does not have a lot of throw. So again, going back to your philosophy of use on this, why you would be carrying a AAA sized flashlight and what your intended use is for it versus something that has much higher lumens and much larger throw in what the light is. So your use of this is not going to be the same as you would for something that has higher lumens and more power. But really guys, I'm pretty happy with this light. It's constructed really well. It carries in the pocket really nice. You basically forget that it's there. ThorFire is a great brand that is making really good lights, and the upgrade to the PF01 to now have the PF01S, I think they have a total slam dunk here. It's built really well, it's waterproof, it's an IPX7 rating, so you don't have to worry about dropping this in a puddle or something or whatever, any kind of water. It's not going to hurt the lights. So there you go guys, that is the PF01S, a really cool little light that is at a really decent price. 15 bucks on Amazon as of this review. And thanks to ThorFire for sending this out to me to be able to test. I'm really appreciate that. But awesome little light, definitely recommend it. So yeah, there you go, the PF01S from ThorFire. Thanks for watching guys, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hope you have an awesome day.